You wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and your legs feel weak, almost wobbly, like they don't belong to you. You lean against the wall, the nightstand, anything that offers stability, because that strength you always had is simply gone. During the day, you get tired just climbing a flight of stairs, carrying a bag of groceries, playing with your grandkids for a few minutes. And the worst part is seeing your clothes getting loose, not because you've lost weight in a healthy way, but because your muscles are melting away, disappearing day by day, and you feel increasingly fragile, more dependent, older. You go to the doctor, and they talk about sarcopenia, about muscle mass loss, and prescribe an expensive supplement or send you to the gym. But you can barely walk straight. How are you supposed to lift weights? Then comes that silent fear that eats away at you from the inside. The fear of falling and not being able to get up, the fear of needing help for everything, the fear of losing your independence, your dignity, your life as you know it. You look in the mirror and don't recognize that body, too thin, too weak, too aged, and you wonder if there's any going back, if there's any way to regain the strength you've lost, to rebuild what time has destroyed. The answer I'm going to give you today will surprise you, because it's not in the pharmacy, it's not in an expensive gym, it's not in any complex treatment. It's in your own kitchen, in your fruit bowl, in something so simple you never imagined it could rebuild your muscles while you sleep. Science has discovered something absolutely revolutionary about a specific fruit and its ability to stimulate muscle protein synthesis overnight, precisely during the period when our bodies need this process most for regeneration. A study recently published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed this fruit before bed had an increase of up to 42% in their nightly muscle building rate compared to those who consumed nothing or other sources of nutrients. 42%. That's almost half again as much muscle being rebuilt while you sleep, without doing anything other than eating a piece of fruit. And what's most impressive is that this fruit acts in a way that no supplement can fully replicate, because it combines specific proteins with natural compounds that enhance the absorption and utilization of these nutrients precisely when your body is in deep recovery mode. I'm a hepatologist, and for over 20 years, I've been treating patients with metabolic diseases. One thing I've noticed throughout this journey is that muscle loss in older adults doesn't just happen because of age, it happens because there's a critical nutritional deficiency that no one tells you about. A deficiency that prevents your body from utilizing the protein you eat during the day to rebuild muscle at night. And this fruit, which I'll reveal shortly, corrects exactly this deficiency in a way so elegant and natural that it almost seems too simple to be true, but science is there, proving it works. Look, if you've made it this far, it's because you're truly concerned about your health, your strength, your independence, and that gives me a lot of hope. I created this channel precisely for people like you, who don't want to just accept muscle loss as an inevitable part of aging, but want to understand what's happening in their bodies and want real, practical, accessible solutions. Every week I bring you updated information based on the latest research protocols that many doctors still don't know about or don't have time to explain in their offices. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because I'm going to guide you on this journey of regaining your muscle strength, your independence, your quality of life. You're not alone in this, and together we'll reverse this muscle loss that scares you so much. But before I reveal what this miracle fruit is, I need to tell you the story of Mrs. Marisa, a patient who came to me at 73 years old, weighing only 105 pounds. With arms so thin they looked like twigs. She walked into my office leaning on her daughter because she was afraid of falling, and told me with tears in her eyes that she could no longer do the things she loved, couldn't cook for her family anymore, couldn't carry her young grandson, couldn't even comb her own hair without getting tired. Her exam showed severe sarcopenia, with such a significant loss of muscle mass that she was on the verge of complete frailty and dependence. I looked at her and saw not just a patient, but I saw my own mother in the future. I saw the mothers of so many people watching me now, and I knew I had to do something different, something beyond the standard protocol. That's when I started studying nocturnal protein nutrition in depth and discovered the power of this fruit that I'll reveal soon. In 3 months, just 3 months using the protocol I'll teach you today, Mrs. Marisa gained 8 pounds of pure muscle mass, regained strength in her legs, started cooking again, started holding her grandson again, started living again. And it all began with a simple change in her nighttime diet. Now I need to ask you a question, and I want you to be completely honest with me, because your answer can help thousands of people watching this video right now. When you realized you were losing muscle strength, that your legs were getting weaker, that your arms were getting thinner, what was the first thought that came to your mind? Was it the fear of falling? Was it the fear of becoming dependent on your children? Was it that feeling of helplessness that there's nothing you can do because it's just part of aging? I know how hard it is to carry that fear in silence, to see your body changing and feel incapable of reversing it. So I want you to comment below. Use these words if you like. I'm losing muscle mass and need help. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel judged. This is a safe space. And when you comment, you're showing other people they're not alone. You're creating a wave of support, of strength. Comment now, because I read every comment, and your story matters, your struggle matters. Now let's understand what's happening in your body that's causing this devastating muscle loss, because without understanding the problem, you won't be able to apply the solution correctly. Muscle is a living tissue that's constantly renewing itself. All the time it's being broken down and rebuilt. And in young people, this balance works perfectly. But as you age, especially after 60, something called anabolic resistance occurs. This is when your body loses its ability to respond to muscle-building stimuli the same way it used to. You can eat the same amount of protein you ate in your 40s, but your body won't be able to use that protein to build muscle with the same efficiency. And do you know the most critical period for this muscle building? It's during the night, during sleep, when your body releases growth hormone, when the deepest cellular regeneration happens, when protein synthesis should be at its peak. But the problem is, most seniors go to sleep without providing their bodies with the right nutrients to take advantage of this nocturnal anabolic window. And then what happens is, without protein to rebuild muscle, the body starts breaking down its own muscle to use as a source of amino acids. It's a vicious cycle of muscle self-destruction that happens night after night, month after month, until one day you wake up and realize you've lost half your strength. The fruit I'm about to reveal breaks this cycle in a brilliant way. It provides not just protein, but a specific protein rich in leucine, which is the amino acid that acts as a trigger to initiate muscle synthesis. And more than that, it provides slow-absorbing carbohydrates that keep your insulin levels stable throughout the night. And insulin is crucial for transporting these amino acids into muscle cells. And there's more. This fruit contains magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants that reduce muscle inflammation, allowing recovery to happen even more efficiently. It's as if nature created the perfect supplement for nighttime muscle rebuilding, but for free, with no side effects, no contraindications. Let me tell you the story of Mr. John, a 78-year-old gentleman who came to me because he was falling a lot. He had fallen 3 times in the last 6 months, once in the bathroom, once on the sidewalk, and once inside his own home. He was terrified, and so was his family, because each fall could be a hip fracture. It could be the beginning of the end, as happens to so many seniors. Mr. John's tests showed he had only 32% muscle mass in his body when the ideal for his age would be at least 40%. He was literally skeletal on the inside, without support, without strength. And do you know what else stood out to me in his story? He told me that at night he ate very little because he was afraid of gaining weight, afraid of having heartburn, afraid of not being able to sleep. So he'd have dinner at 6 in the evening and wouldn't eat anything else until breakfast the next day, fasting for 14 hours. And during those 14 hours, his body was cannibalizing its own muscles to survive. I explained to Mr. John the importance of nighttime nutrition, and especially about this fruit I'm about to reveal. This fruit is the avocado. That's right, avocado. And I know what you're thinking. Avocado doesn't have much protein. How can it rebuild muscle? But wait, because here's the secret nobody tells you. Avocado alone really doesn't have enough protein. But when you combine half a medium avocado with 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese or plain Greek yogurt before bed, you create the perfect combination of high-quality protein, healthy fats, and micronutrients that work in synergy to maximize muscle protein synthesis throughout the night. The avocado provides monounsaturated fats that increase amino acid absorption. It provides magnesium that relaxes muscles and improves sleep quality. It provides potassium that prevents nighttime cramps. And it provides fiber that keeps energy release constant. The cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, on the other hand, provides casein, which is a slow-digesting protein that releases amino acids into the bloodstream for up to 7 hours, feeding your muscles throughout your sleep. When Mr. John started eating this combination every night, half an hour before bed, the results were impressive. In 2 months, he gained 5.5 pounds of muscle mass. His leg strength increased so much that he was able to resume 30-minute walks. And most importantly, he didn't fall again. He told me he felt his legs were firm. He felt he could trust his own body again. And that's priceless. That's quality of life, independence, dignity. And it all started with half an avocado and 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese before bed. But there's a very important technical detail I need to explain so you understand why this combination works so well. When you're young, you have a good amount of satellite cells in your muscles, which are stem cells that lie dormant until activated to regenerate and build new muscle. But as you age, these satellite cells become less responsive. They need a much stronger stimulus to wake up and do their job. And guess what the most powerful stimulus is for activating these satellite cells? It's leucine, an essential amino acid present in high concentrations in dairy products like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. When you consume this leucine-rich protein along with the fats from the avocado, you create a perfect hormonal environment for these satellite cells to wake up and start working on muscle rebuilding. Furthermore, avocado fats stimulate the production of testosterone and growth hormone during sleep, which are the 2 most important anabolic hormones for muscle gain at any age. Now let me tell you about Mrs. Celia, an 81-year-old woman who came to me weighing only 95 pounds with a case of sarcopenia so severe she could barely get out of bed on her own. Her family was considering hiring a full-time caregiver because she needed help even to bathe, to get dressed, to do everything. I looked at that woman and saw she still had a sparkle in her eyes, still had a will to live, still had hope, and I couldn't give up on her. I prescribed the avocado with cottage cheese protocol, but I also advised her to do some light resistance exercises using her own body weight, just 10 minutes a day. And you know what happened? In 4 months, she gained 11 pounds of muscle mass, started walking on her own again, started doing things around the house again, started living again. She told me she felt reborn, that she had regained not only her physical strength, but also her will to live, her joy in being independent. And when I see cases like this, I am absolutely certain that nutrition has a healing power that most doctors completely underestimate. Now let's get to the practical protocol, because I know you want to know exactly how to make this work for you. First, you need to understand that timing is crucial. You should consume this meal 30 to 60 minutes before going to bed. If you eat too early, the amino acids will be used for other functions and won't be available during the anabolic window of sleep. If you eat too late or are already lying down, you might experience reflux or discomfort. The ideal amount is half a medium avocado, mashed with 2 heaping tablespoons of cottage cheese or plain unsweetened Greek yogurt. You can add a pinch of Himalayan pink salt. You can add a little cinnamon if you want to improve the flavor. You can even add half a small banana, diced if you exercise during the day and need a little more carbohydrate. The important thing is that the base is always avocado with cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, because this is the combination that will provide the fats and proteins in the ideal proportion to stimulate nighttime muscle synthesis. If you have fatty liver disease, give this video a like, because this protocol will also help improve your liver health, as avocado is rich in glutathione, a powerful antioxidant that protects liver cells against damage. And if you know someone who is losing muscle mass, who is becoming frail, who is afraid of falling, share this video with that person, because you might be saving their independence and quality of life. Now let's talk about the most common questions my patients have about this protocol. The first question is always about the fear of gaining weight by eating fat before bed. And I understand this fear, because for decades we've been told that fat makes you fat, that you can't eat at night, that you have to have dinner early, and that's it. But modern science has shown that this is a myth. The fats in avocado are monounsaturated fats that actually speed up metabolism, improve insulin sensitivity, and when combined with protein before bed, they increase nighttime calorie expenditure because the body needs a lot of energy to synthesize muscle. So no, you won't gain weight. On the contrary, you will gain lean mass and lose visceral fat because muscle is metabolically active and burns calories even at rest. The second question is about people who have reflux or gastritis and are afraid of eating at night. And here's some information that few people know. Avocado is alkalizing. It doesn't irritate the stomach. On the contrary, it helps protect the gastric lining. And cottage cheese or Greek yogurt are also well tolerated as long as you don't have severe lactose intolerance. If you have reflux, the secret is to eat at least an hour before lying down. Stay sitting or standing for about 20 minutes after eating. And if necessary, elevate the head of your bed slightly. But in my clinical experience, the vast majority of patients have no problems at all, and many even improve their reflux because they gain muscle mass in their core, which strengthens the esophageal sphincter. The third question is about people with diabetes who are afraid of eating before bed because of their blood sugar levels. And here's another valuable piece of information. The combination of fat and protein has a very low glycemic index. It won't cause an insulin spike. It won't destabilize your blood sugar. On the contrary, it will keep your blood sugar stable throughout the night, preventing those episodes of hypoglycemia in the middle of the night that make you wake up sweaty, with a racing heart, and hungry. I have diabetic patients who have significantly improved their glycemic control precisely after starting this nighttime meal, because they stopped having sharp blood sugar fluctuations. Let me tell you about another case, that of Mr. Antonio, a 69-year-old man who had type 2 diabetes and was rapidly losing muscle mass due to insulin resistance. He had flaccid, toneless muscles, the kind that look like they've melted away. His blood sugar was always out of control, fluctuating between 180 in the morning and 80 in the early morning, and he didn't understand why. When I investigated his eating routine, I discovered that he had dinner at 7 in the evening and didn't eat anything else. Then, during the night, his liver would dump glucose into his bloodstream to compensate for the prolonged fast, causing that morning hyperglycemia. At the same time, without available amino acids, his body was breaking down muscle for energy. It was a metabolic catastrophe. I prescribed the avocado with Greek yogurt protocol at 10 p.m. every night. In 6 weeks, his fasting blood sugar dropped from 180 to 110, his HbA1c dropped from 8, 2 to 7, 1, and he gained 6 pounds of muscle mass. 6 pounds might not seem like much, but for an elderly person with diabetes, it's a gigantic transformation. It's the difference between being frail and being functional. And here's a detail that makes all the difference. You can't just grab any avocado and any cottage cheese. The avocado has to be perfectly ripe. Not too green, not too mushy. When you give it a gentle squeeze, it should yield just a bit, but not be overly soft. Overripe avocados have fewer nutrients and more oxidized compounds. The cottage cheese or Greek yogurt needs to be plain, with no sugar, no sweeteners, nothing added. Check the label. Make sure it has at least 12 grams of protein per 100 grams of product. If it's less than that, it's not good quality cottage cheese or yogurt, and it won't work as well. And if you're lactose intolerant, you can use lactose-free Greek yogurt, which is readily available in many supermarkets, or lactose-free cottage cheese. Comment below if you've tried to build muscle and haven't succeeded. I really want to hear your story so I can understand what might be going wrong and preventing you from getting results. Often, the problem isn't a lack of effort, but a lack of correct information, following outdated advice that doesn't work for an older adult's metabolism. When you comment, you help me create more specific content to address the real issues you're facing. Now let's talk about what you should avoid to keep from sabotaging your nighttime muscle building process. First, avoid drinking alcohol at night. Alcohol completely blocks muscle protein synthesis, even if you're eating the right protein. Just 1 glass of wine with dinner can reduce muscle building during sleep by up to 40%. Second, avoid refined carbs or sugar with that evening meal. This causes a spike in insulin followed by a crash, which disrupts sleep and diverts amino acids to fat storage instead of muscle building. Third, avoid taking unnecessary anti-inflammatories. Some anti-inflammatories inhibit protein synthesis, especially with chronic use. And fourth, don't engage in prolonged fasting during the day thinking it will help you lose weight. For older adults, extended fasting is catastrophic for muscle mass. You'll lose muscle much faster than you'll lose fat. There's a fascinating study published in the Journal of Gerontology that followed 200 older adults for a full year. Half consumed protein with healthy fat before bed, and the other half consumed nothing. At the end of the year, the group that had the nighttime protein gained an average of 8 kilograms of muscle mass and lost 6 kilograms of visceral fat. The group that consumed nothing lost 2 kilograms of muscle mass and gained half a kilogram of visceral fat. The difference is astounding. It's the difference between aging with health and strength versus aging frail and dependent. And what's even more incredible is that the group consuming the nighttime protein also experienced fewer falls, fewer fractures, fewer hospitalizations, and significantly better quality of life across all questionnaires administered. Let's recap everything to make it crystal clear. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass, isn't inevitable. It can be prevented and even reversed if you provide your body with the right nutrients at the right time. The most crucial time is before sleep, because that's when most muscle regeneration and building occurs. The ideal combination is half a medium mashed avocado with 2 tablespoons of plain cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, consumed 30 to 60 minutes before bed. This mix provides high-quality protein rich in leucine, healthy fats that optimize amino acid absorption, magnesium and potassium that enhance muscle recovery, and a nutritional profile that keeps protein synthesis active all night long. With consistent use over a few months, you'll notice gains in strength, increased muscle mass, fewer falls, more energy, and a much better quality of life. But remember, doing this for a week and then stopping won't cut it. Consistency is key. You need to make this a lifelong habit. And before I wrap up, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new and valuable today. Likes tell me this content is helping people and motivate me to keep bringing you information that truly transforms lives. Second, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Every week I share new protocols, scientific discoveries, and case studies that will help you achieve complete health and quality longevity. Third, share this video with your parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anyone you love who is getting older and losing strength. This information can literally change their aging trajectory. It could be the difference between them aging with dignity and independence versus aging frail and dependent. In my next video, I'll show you the 3 most powerful exercises any older adult can do at home with no equipment to further boost muscle gain when combined with this nutritional protocol I've taught you today. You'll discover you don't need an expensive gym, a personal trainer, or anything beyond your own body to reclaim the strength you thought was lost forever. Until then, take care. Eat well, and remember, strength doesn't just come from muscles. It comes from the determination not to give up on yourself. Take care, and I'll see you next time.